It's the chief. This is a public service.
That's Frank there.
That's Fowler too, isn't it? Right here.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm not even going to talk to Frank. I'm going to go talk to Fowler. They got you cooking, huh, Chief?
What's happening, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Are you the one that did the nice thing on our guy that on the traffic stop a few weeks ago?
Well, I've done some nice ones, but I've done some other ones too, you know.
I know. Well,
I try to be fair,
as
Chief.
long as you're fair, that's...
Yeah, no, I do try to be... So, I got to ask, because, you know, obviously it's in front of everybody's mind, but the arrest of Jeff Gray, what's the current understanding of things in the department?
So, he was arrested, but he was unarrested before he was charged. As soon as our administration heard what the charge was, they intervened and had him unarrested and made whole. Basically what it comes down to is we train on First Amendment rights regularly. We do it shift training, we do formalized training, we do it in-house, we send people out, but apparently we didn't do a good enough job, and that's on me. So we are going to do additional training. We've already reached out to an attorney to come in and conduct training. We're going to review the statute or the ordinance. Got our legal doing that so that we can see what the status of that is, and we'll make the changes we need to do a better job.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, accountability, owning it is hugely important.
It's on me. It all comes down to me. I'm the one who's responsible for how we conduct ourselves, and we need to have better outcomes than that. So
you, Chief, you mentioned that you were going to have some outside attorney come in. Have you ever thought about reaching out to the community that's actually trying to have you guys?
Well, there's Mark's right here. I was going to ask Mark to do it about 2 years ago when I became the director, but Mark got on to us about a story, and I don't think he would have been received well by the officers after that.
Right.
So, you know, we'll look at all options. We're not closed to anything. We want to do as good a job as we can do, and if there are outside sources that do a better job than what we're currently doing on our training, then we'll look into that. I mean, I've done that with the JiuJitsu community. I'm sure you're aware there were a ton of bad outcomes a few summers ago where unarmed people were being shot, and it was untenable for the profession altogether. So the JiuJitsu community has nothing to do with policing. Reached out and said, we can help you, we can make this better. I
do JiuJitsu, so I know how, I'm not going to say,
okay.
But I understand that.
I partnered with Half Gracie. There's the professor there. This weekend he's becoming a 6th-degree black belt.
Yep.
I partnered with them. Every one of my new officers goes there to train. To me, that's one of those things you're talking about. Outside resources, outside of the agency, outside of the profession, that have specialties that they're better at than we are. So, you know, we embrace that completely.
So do you talk at all with your officers about how I mean, you mentioned the video that you saw a couple weeks ago where it was a good interaction.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you kept it down the middle.
Yeah, no, I just show what happens. I don't have an agenda. You might think I have an agenda, but my agenda is to have officers honor their oath.
Yep.
You know, I think it's important that, you know, you guys swear to protect the Constitution, and then
yep.
I go and ask an officer, like for yourself, Chief, if somebody asked you a question and you didn't know the answer to it, would you make a good faith effort to find out the answer to that question?
Sure, of course.
So the First Amendment of the Constitution.
If it was a reasonable request.
Sure.
I know sometimes, and I don't know if you do this or not, but you know, part of the training is that some of the times the First Amendment auditors will ask you to recite what rights are protected in a specific amendment.
Like the First Amendment, for instance. Right. It secures 5 fundamental freedoms to we the people.
And
do you know what those 5 freedoms are, Chief?
The attorneys would tell us not to answer those questions because we never look good. But
well, that's not true. Your officer the other day answered, and he looked great.
Good.
Yeah, he looked great.
That's good. So what do we have? Press, speech, religion, assembly, and I must be missing one.
You're missing one?
Yeah, I got a degree in criminal justice, but it's been a long time, and you know, of course, that's something that we all do with that. But Absolutely.
So Chief, I use an acronym, and it's pretty easy to remember. It's pretty easy to disseminate to the whole staff.
Yep.
RAPS, RAPPS, religion, assembly, petition, press, and speech.
Right.
But I mean, it's such a simple thing,
Yep.
and you know, we had an interaction the other night with a couple officers that wasn't like the one from a few weeks ago, because it's almost like they think it's a confrontation.
So here's where the confrontational part comes from. When the Jeff Gray video went out, and this will probably just spur them to do more, when Mark's done his in the past, overnight, between 4:30 when our office closed and 8 in the morning, we had 175 voicemails, all of them berating us, cursing at us, calling us names that I wouldn't even say here. That does not make us more effective or more efficient in carrying out our mission. We are not as good being able to protect the public, make a better environment for everybody, because people are tied up doing those things. So when people call in with a legitimate concern, or they need a legitimate service carried out by us, we have to vet all those, 175 calls to find the two that were legitimate.
Yeah, and just to push back on that, there's nothing more important than the constitutional rights that you guys swore to uphold, right?
Sure.
So all of those calls came in, and the only reason that Jeff was released in the first place is because calls started coming in. Somebody was made aware that you guys fucked up, you arrested Jeff Gray.
Yep,
that only happens because people reach out to the department.
Yep.
It's the only thing that people have.
This was all after the fact. This was, the thing that notified us was a single email, and I'm very appreciative that somebody sent that so that we could intervene and make it right. But this is long after the fact. This is 2-3 days later.
Well,
calling us,
those are people,
names,
right?
People that are really having to deal with that. Those are civilian office.
You understand that, though, right, Chief?
I understand people's frustration when we don't get the job done well enough.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so committed to making sure that we do a better job and have better outcomes. But you must understand how our civilian office staff, not sworn law enforcement officers, having to deal, they're calling our garage. Our mechanics are answering the phones and being called these horrible names just because they work in the city. That's not reasonable, but
well, it is reasonable.
Okay.
I mean, it's
reasonable. You and I can agree to disagree. We can.
That. I'm not even sure that we can agree to disagree on it. It's a First Amendment protected right that you swore to uphold. So to say out of one side of your mouth, well, this is the line. Well, you swore all the way up to the line where we're screaming fire in crowded theaters.
But again, what does the mechanic that's working on the bulldozer have to do with that? And just because it's protected speech, nobody's restricting them from making the speech.
Well, you're saying they shouldn't do it.
Doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could do.
Well, it's not for us to decide what another person's right is. I mean, we can have societal norms.
You're confusing what I said.
All right, straighten me out.
I didn't say it's not their right. I said it doesn't make us more efficient. Doesn't make us more effective when we get 175 calls to just call and scream names at us.
Well,
we've already acknowledged that we got to do a better job.
Can we turn the music off? We're having a conversation, and this guy comes up in a deliberate attempt.
Well,
you know exactly,
the whole time.
But you know exactly what that is, because you and I have talked about this specifically.
Thank you so much for taking care of
So do you condone the actions of your sergeant yesterday? You must condone it if you're walking away in silence.
Oh,
the prior restraint.
Are you talking about his First Amendment right to play music? I'm sure you must
that his
condone
First
it as a
Amendment
First
right?
Amendment.
Tell me about his First Amendment. Tell me about his First Amendment rights. I thought that he had duties and responsibilities when he was working, not rights, sir.
Oh, does he?
Are you confused about the Constitution?
His constitutional rights while
he traded those in. Yes,
explain that.
He traded those in for the privileges that he was given by the city and you, sir.
Traded in.
So you don't respect. So you don't respect the rights of the citizens.
I know you're new at this, so you don't understand it.
Tell me about how I'm new at it. Well, you tell me more by stopping and having a conversation, sir, rather than running away like a coward.
Yep.
So the prior restraint you're okay with. What's your name?
Steve.
Steve, what do you do for the city?
I'm a building official.
You're a building official, and you're wondering why people reach out to mechanics? We got a building official exercising prior restraint, and you're smiling and laughing about it, Chief. It's fucked up, dude.
I'm not disagreeing with your point.
Well,
So,
then
it's fine.
let's scale back the music and get rid of it.
We
Well,
can.
so we can have a
Yeah.
professional
Steve, we can set
conversation.
that over there. I don't mind talking to these guys. Thank you. I was trying to move out of my way, but appreciate it.
No, you weren't, dude. Why lie?
So, again,
He's one of they put this.
Yeah, I mean, I get why he's doing that, Chief. This is uncomfortable, right? You know,
this isn't, but other encounters
but you
have been,
understand
of
what I'm
course.
saying,
Of course.
right? So I'm just trying to have a. These
this
are
is my first-
conversations
this
that
has
most
been-
people hide from.
This has been my first opportunity to speak on this. And, you know,
It's nice too. Just two things with Karen's. Is it Karen's or Kearns?
Karen's.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna beat them up on it back, Mark. No, I'm serious. You know the IA thing that I got you on was $3,300 for an IA. Come on, that was stupid. This should have never been done.
I don't even know. I'll be honest. You won't be able to use this if I say it. I've never seen one of your videos. I've seen part of one that Frauditor did that somebody told me about.
Of course
That's
you
it.
did.
That's
Yeah.
the only
of
one
course
I've
you've seen those. You don't watch the ones that should be the ones that are around here. Those charges are dropped. I don't know if that's a dig or not.
But it's not. I said
you
you
know
won't
how
be able
Port
to
Orange
use
is.
this. I'm not.
You know why I do this, right? Port Orange arrest me in my front yard.
I have heard that's how it all started.
That's how it all started.
You know,
100%.
And Mark, let's be honest. You and I were colleagues.
Yeah, we work together.
You
VCR
weren't a bad guy. I have no idea why you've decided to, fight with us. But if it's because of Port Orange, you've spread it far and wide since then, buddy.
So yeah, I have. And it's not just Port Orange. It's like with, and I wanted to talk about Karen's there, but it's with what's the guy's name that was here, Lieutenant Schoenbrock.
Yeah.
Even that when he was sustained for destroying public records or whatever the case was there, his Form 78 was not right.
Well, you and I disagree about that. But
It's a
you
moral
made your
character
complaint to
violation.
FDLE, and apparently they didn't find an issue with it.
I didn't make a complaint
Now
to
you're
them.
gonna-
Yeah, the fraud control. That's a dig.
Yeah, no, of course it is. And so was the whole comment about you lost your way or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But what I was going to say about Karen's is that someone else came forward and said that they were arrested, unarrested.
Yeah. I can tell you what I know about that.
That's okay, because I'm going to get the records and report. I figured it was
Yeah,
something
but the investigation isn't done.
on that Fernandez
So let me
one?
tell you. Yeah, let me tell you what it was. They responded to the call. They found probable cause to arrest him for DV.
Yep.
They get him to the jail, and he says something to the effect of, "Oh, wait, I got cameras in my house, and I got the information on my phone."
Sounds about right.
They showed him he showed, or somehow they were able to view exculpatory evidence, and they immediately released him and made him whole again.
Yeah, that's what the gentleman said. He said he wasn't knocking the PD. It was just like, wait a second, that sounds kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it was something along the lines of taking a phone, and a married couple's phone is communal property. You shouldn't make an arrest on that anyway. But the other one was there was a tag reader hit that he got. It was a male RO that was registered owner that was suspended, and a female driver. And
Don't know about that.
that's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
That's the third one. It was just like weird. Well, he stopped the car based off the suspended male RO, but it was a female driver, and he did everything anyway. Rather than say, "Oh, you're not the RO, you're
Yep.
female,"
Yep.
still ran the name.
We should
still-
cut if that is the set of facts. As soon as they determine that it's not the RO, they should cut him loose.
That didn't happen on that. So that's why I wasn't knocking him to bring it up, but
And quite frankly, if you can see into the car and the race and gender don't match, you shouldn't stop them anyway.
that's what
So-
we didn't have tag readers back when I was there. But yeah, to answer that question, like you say, you've gone far and wide. I sure have, because I see how bad it is.
Yeah, I think it's the spirit in which you present it.
You think so?
And
Well, you have to
maybe
be,
maybe it's more your followers.
That's not intellectually honest if you haven't seen any of his videos.
Yeah. How do you
That's
see
what
it?
I said. And maybe it's your followers. I don't know. But, I know what I hear back. And it is intellectually honest because I haven't seen any of his videos.
Then you
Except for
shouldn't comment on it. You shouldn't say, "Oh, you shouldn't talk about this
Just like he
perception
just-
that you have of
like
him
he
because
just-
of something."
Like he just based on what he'd heard about the officer in question making the stop, I'm basing it on what I've heard. So I think it's actually the exact same situation.
You have access to the record,
Which record?
all of them, every video that he's ever published. If you cared enough to, you don't have YouTube?
They're
Of
public.
course I have YouTube.
Well, I don't know what
did
you're
watch
talking
the one
You know
about.
about
what?
the
I'll
arrest.
take that back. I've seen your knockoff of qualified copy. That comes up on my Instagram.
Yeah, the credit card guy.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that one's not as bad. It doesn't direct it towards anybody like government-wise, but yeah, that was it. It was a police officer threatened to arrest me in the front yard. It's gone far and wide because I see it in every agency and everywhere you go. You know, and that's the sad part.
I would say you definitely have the attention of the industry now. That, you know, I don't know of any department that's not training on the First Amendment and engaging with you guys.
And they still do. I mean, they have it, and still they arrest people for it right on the spot, like we're here.
Like I said, we got to do better, you know?
And one of the things, like the other night with Smith and the guy, he has kind of like a shaved sideburns, kind of almost a mullet a little bit. I can't think of his name. He works on
They both started August 4th.
August 4th. Younger guys.
Okay.
Decent guys. They were out trying to have a conversation. But we didn't approach them. They yelled over the PA to do a kickflip. And so then that got our attention. So, you know, it's like 11:30 was.
One wheel?
Yeah. It's like 11:30 at night, and it was right at 11:30, right?
Yeah, right
Yeah,
about that.
11:30, and said, "Hey, do a kickflip over the PA," and I was like, "Oh well, hey, let's chat if you want to engage."
Right.
But they shouldn't even be doing stuff like that over the PA when people are trying to sleep and whatnot. And then 30 minutes later, I think a big ass fire alarm went off. Everybody was pissed off. So, but yeah, the answer to do better, I think that's right. But if FDLE did a report on the a complaint, I don't know that I made the complaint. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
I just heard there was a complaint, and I knew that you had raised the question to me directly, I think.
Yeah, I did. Just because if there's a listed moral character violation, then you've got to list them. You've got to notify the state attorney that there's a Brady officer, and that's how it works. But those forms, when you have a sustained felony, that is considered a moral character violation. And
So
apparently
with
they
him,
didn't receive
you
it.
you didn't think there was any moral issue with first
To
the
be honest
kid.
with you, without looking at that,
He put the kid in a jail cell and then he deleted public records.
I'm not going to relitigate the stuff that happened years ago, and that's a.
We're just talking about moral character.
Yeah, he works at Flagler.
I'm not going to go over all that again. I think
All right.
I think that's been done.
Well, it's been done. But the whole conversation we're having is, was it done properly? You know, that's.
Well, again, like I said, you know,
He said FDLE didn't.
FDLE didn't find anything
Well,
wrong with the way it was
FDLE
handled.
doesn't investigate.
That's what they say. Yeah, they say that.
So FDLE, they just take what you give them and they believe you because you're the chief of police.
It was funny.
That'd
Even
be for FDLE to answer that. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm telling you, and you know, I think you know.
what's funny is, like, you know, he was talking about losing the way or whatever it was like that. I do a photography business. I did it for years, and they actually hired me to do photos. And
Yeah, you did them right here.
Yeah, I think I came in and I gave them $150 to do basically just an event or something like that. Normally when I do like a 2-hour, 4-hour event, it's like $3 grand. But that was after I started my channel too. So Daytona Beach Shores was like, they seem to be pretty good. Every time I come over here, they don't fuck with me, they don't do anything, and then all of a
Well,
sudden,
we can be better.
everybody can. Me too. I mean, obviously, my charges are all dropped, but a big mistake, and I shared with him the mistake of what it was, and my wife apologized and said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize I did what
Mark,
I did."
that's family business. We don't have to, we don't have to explain that.
You decided to watch the video and bring it up today. That's the only video you watched.
The only one I've seen, like I said, is the Prodigal guy. I don't even know who that is.
I do. He's in Canada.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, we have a
Well,
notice sent to
I
him.
will say all of y'all's reach is pretty far because, the people calling up to lecture us on the First Amendment and sending the emails we suspect are as far as Australia based upon the names that they use to call us.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
worldwide for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that people are concerned about our fundamental rights around the world.
What kind of event you guys got today? Is it just regular?
Community.
That's cool.
So how long do we have to wait for our hamburgers?
I think it's 4.
All right.
Again, appreciate you being down the middle.
Yeah.
We're out here today to ensure our natural rights are respected by those who swore an oath to support, protect, and defend the rights of the people. The purpose of all interactions is to peacefully promote government accountability and transparency. Please like, share, and subscribe so this message can reach as many people as possible. I implore you to peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. This is a public service.